This morning. I dropped my kids off 10 minutes earlier to school, and it was amazing. The traffic was like 70% less. It was like such a different experience. It's like the little bit that 10 minutes has on your life is pretty insane, actually. All right. Well, I'll wait for questions to come in. In the meantime, maybe I will. Oh, here's the question. We'll start here. I bought a bunk bed for my son and the wooden slats keep molding. What should I do? If they keep molding, if there's mold growing on the wooden slats under your bed, then there is a source problem in your house somewhere, probably close by. Either that or a big moisture issue. I'd probably be looking at the walls surrounding your bed. But if you're getting mold that's growing on the wood under the bed, that means that there's mold around and there's moisture present in that space. It's a combination of those two things. So there's something going on in there. I'd look to at least have the room inspected in that way to see what's going on. So that's where I would start. And if you do want a single room, and I was going to do whatever. I'll answer some more questions. I'll come back to it. Okay. Our floors are being torn up tomorrow because we have mold under our floating floors. They are remediating and want to paint a primer solution over the subfloor before reinstalling new floors. Okay. This is something that remediators want to do all the time. They want to just keep your subfloor in and they just want to paint over it. Okay. The problem is if there's mold on the subfloor, painting over it is not like super ideal, right? I don't know if you're on like a first floor or second floor, if there's space below you, or if the subfloor is right on the bottom. But like a lot of times, subfloor is not solid wood; it's plywood. So it's like pieces of wood that are kind of stacked on top. You have like 5 layers of wood, so mold can grow into the different layers. So sure, like you could try to paint and cover over the top as best as you can. It's not going to completely stop stuff from coming up. And think every time you take a step, you're disturbing that down there, right? It's not only about what comes up, it's about what goes down, right? So if mold grew into the floor like that, because there's the layers, right? It grew into the subfloor. You got to think what's down below that. So if you're on a second floor, for example, and you have flooring, so that's now your ceiling in the room that you are, it's a subfloor above there. There's probably mold all on the bottom of that too, which then means it's in the ceiling cavity of the room that's below it. And then every time you take a step, you're disturbing it and breaking it apart. It gets into your cavity and works back down. Plywood is cheap. It is, in the grand scheme of things, it is very cheap to replace as compared to like the actual flooring itself, right? It's literally plywood. You go to the Home Depot and buy plywood very cheaply. Plywood should be removed. If there's any staining or water damage or suspect mold on it, it should be removed. It shouldn't be painted over. That's what we write in all of our protocols all the time, just so you know. To prevent mold in saunas, would you recommend leaving the door shut with it still turned on still when you get done, so it would dry out, or would you leave the door open after using? This is the last sauna post that I did of me in my sauna getting out and showing how I dripped some sweat and I wiped it out and then it was dry. Got so many, there was like, I don't know, like 30,000 views on that one post, which was literally just me not thinking and randomly doing something in the morning. And everybody has so many questions about the saunas. It's not about like drying it out. You shouldn't be getting it wet. That's the thing. That's the question. Let's not worry about how do I dry it once all my wood is wet. Let's not let the wood get wet. And how do you not let the wood get wet? You double layer towels and you sit on one and you put one down where your feet are. And then you have a third towel with you that you continuously wipe your body off with while you're sweating because you are the water source. So the towel, that primary hand towel, is collecting 90% of the water that's being created off of your body. And then if any of it does get down and gets a little bit on the towel, you've double layered your towels. That's going to soak it up. And it's not like you're pouring heavy amounts of water there, right? So the real answer is you shouldn't have to do either. You should not have to leave your sauna on or leave it open or anything because you just stopped the water in the first place from getting to the wood. This is the core concept of all mold problems, is where is the water coming from and how do we stop the water source or prevent the water source from impacting the building materials? The same concept is in a sink cabinet. Like if you're going to open the cabinet, instead of like, how do I wipe my cabinet off if it gets wet? Like for me, I have rubber inserts that go under all my cabinets that stop the moisture from hitting my cabinets. So that is my answer, is to kind of up your towel game a little bit and make sure that you're getting it all before it falls down. And then if you do need to dry it or whatever, I don't have a preference, honestly. I would probably leave the door open if I was going to do it myself, and I wouldn't leave the heat on. I'd probably like let it air dry and open, but that's just a quick thought. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. Okay, let me see. How do you tape test and how do you small particle clean? There are so many steps, and this is overwhelming. All right, so this is a very big question. How do you tape test? Tape tests are actually very simple. It's like a piece of Scotch tape that's on a glass slide, and you put the tape on something and you lift it off. You know how like you get lint on your clothes and you like tape it off? That's literally what a tape test is. However, I don't prefer to do tape tests. I prefer to do swab tests. Same concept, same idea, except you're able to cover more surface area more easily without having to like tape up and down. When people do tape tests, they don't actually really sample as much as they need to a lot of times. So I would do a swab test personally. That's how you do it. In terms of like where you get them and how you get access to them, we actually can do test kits and stuff like that. This is now the second question kind of tying in this. Maybe I'll shift gears and I'll come back. So I'll get to that in a second. And then how do you small particle clean? This is a whole thing. Remediation is a two-phase process. This is the second phase of the process, is the small particle clean. So all the sources have to be remediated. The small particle clean is a combination of a fogging and then a wipe down with microfiber towels. That's the very short answer that I can give you. So the fog grabs all the particle that's floating in the air and brings it down to the surfaces. And then you wipe down the surfaces to get rid of the particles so they don't come back up in the air. So that's a very high level. Like this is not every step, but that's a very high level kind of core concept of small particle clean. So hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, next question. I know I'm going rapid fire today, so I'm not spending as much time and stuff, but I want to try to switch these up a little bit so I can get more done. Somebody actually responded, oh, I think this is the person with the subfloor. They said, we do have a crawl space. There you go. So sealing the top of that is not going to do anything. You probably have a big mold problem in your crawl space. And what's going to happen is air is going to take that, pull all of it up and push it right back into the house. You got to get rid of that moldy subfloor that's there. And frankly, you'll probably need to have an inspection in your crawl space happen too, because there might be something going on there. So that was the flooring question. Okay, I said this tied into a couple things, so I'll like transition to this and then come back a little bit because a few different questions came up. So there's the one question about the humidity thing in the bed. There was one question about, how do I do a specific test somewhere? So last week, I sort of teased this for everybody who was on, and I had people text me who wanted to get into the first notification of this. On Sunday, which was yesterday, officially released We Inspect Together, which is our app-powered mobile inspection companion, meaning that it's an app that we created, goes on your phone, you take pictures, comes back to my consultants, and we literally inspect your house that way. Way more flexible, way more affordable, way more just on your terms, the way that you want to do it. Now, the beauty about it is that you can literally order just one room if you want to, right? So this person that was asking earlier about the bed stuff, I think there's something going on in that room if mold is growing under there. You want our process, our team, our eyes to look at and give you the best view of what's going on. But it doesn't make sense to fly us out there to look at one room. Obviously, here you go. This is now the solution that literally anybody can do anywhere in the world, anytime that they want to. I opened it yesterday. It sold out in, 30 minutes. I capped it yesterday and we sold out very, very quickly. This morning, I spoke with the team and I opened up some more availability this morning because it looks like that we can handle it now that we're kind of getting into everything. So there are, I think, like 30 room inspections left open right now that I opened up. I have to look and see if people got any yet. I'm not sure. But if you're looking for like single room stuff like that, this is perfect. And the same thing with like, how do I test the single thing? The beauty about this process is we'll inspect the room. Basically, the app sort of tells you what pictures we need to see. The pictures come back, and then in the app, we can like communicate with you. Like, yeah, that's a good shot. Or, hey, I think something's happening here. Can you also get a picture of this over here? So we kind of guide you via the app, but you don't have to know how to inspect anything. You're real-time conversation with our team while it's happening. And then we look at everything and we'll recommend what testing we think may or may not need to happen, whatever it is. And the beauty of it is you order whatever test you want. There'll literally be no test if you don't want to order anything. It's fine. This is the beauty of this. There's no requirements. There's no minimum spends. There's nothing like that, right? It's literally everything you want on your terms. And whatever you want to test, then we put a test kit together. We send it to you and you test it. And it's super easy to test. I made instruction videos on how to do everything. It's so easy to do all that stuff. So If you guys are looking at this, first off, is anybody even into this? Can I see hearts if anybody thinks that they'd be into this before I like throw it out here? Because I was going to push it out a little bit later today, more formally. But for you guys who are here, there's 20 of you here. All right, cool. So there's some hearts here. So if you go to yesweinspect.com/together, that's where you can, there's a lot of hearts here now. That's pretty amazing. Yesweinspect.com/together. So if you do that, that's the launch page that I put up yesterday. It includes a breakdown of how the whole process works. There's an FAQ at the bottom for all the questions that you will have. You basically select the level of involvement you want from us in terms of consulting, meaning do you want us to be on the phone having conversations with you, or do you just want like a quick overview of what's going on in a document? Like you have 100% control over how this works. And in doing so, you have complete control over value and spend and like all this stuff. It's something I'm so excited about. It's going to completely change our entire industry. And I'm just waiting for all of the old heads to come and yell at me for ruining all of their businesses. But I feel like you guys deserve to have the best inspections and the best process and the best consulting available to you, even if you live somewhere very far away or if your budget isn't extreme. So that's what We Inspect Together is. I've been driving at it in 2 years. We just launched it yesterday. We sold out literally like that. And I spoke with the team this morning, open it up. So if you guys are interested, you go to weinspect.com/together. You can order a single room, you can get a couple rooms, whatever you want to do, it breaks it down on there. So that answers a couple of those questions that came in earlier. I didn't want to make this about that. I really want to do Q&A today, but I'm really pumped about it and it's being received very well. So that's exciting. All right, I'm going to scroll back down. Oh, sorry, streamers over here. You're seeing my thumb because my phone is over here too. All right. Here is another question. I learned on a podcast to look under the toilet lid, and we did have mold under that too. How should I clean that? Cool. So under the toilet lids, you can clean. If you get my guide, just go to cleanmymoldystuff.com. You get my cleaning guide. I'll tell you how to clean all this stuff. But mold under a toilet lid means that there is a mold problem somewhere nearby. That's what it means. So it doesn't happen under there naturally, okay? So you need to have mold spores that get in there. The thing is, there's a lot of organic material and moisture in there. So if you have a mold issue going on, it can manifest in there. So it really does look like that there might be something going on. It's the same person that messaged earlier. So you might have some things going on. I definitely think it's worth a look and an inspection for you off of what you're saying here. You got stuff, you got the flooring issues, you got the stuff under the toilets, right? So there's multiple things going on. Definitely worth a look for you. So whether it's Together or us or somebody else, whatever it is, go check it out. Okay, let me look at some other ones here. Regarding the sauna, the wood isn't wet. I'm just concerned about humidity in the air. Is that a concern? Oh, no, if you're just concerned about the humidity making your sauna grow mold, I mean, you shouldn't have really super high humidity. So I guess that's the thing. But if you're thinking that you as the water source are causing humidity in your sauna, then I would be opening the door because that's going to, dilute the air and get some more non-wet human air in there. So hopefully that helps with that. So, hey, somebody messaged me to see if I want to be on your podcast. Well, that's exciting. I will have my team take a look at your message. So thanks for the invite. Cool. All right. Let me see what else we got. I got about 3 minutes here. And it looks like the questions, somebody lives in London. That's all that I got off of that. I'm missing the threads of the questions, I think is what's going on over here. I think that's the problem. So, someone from Sweden. I'm from Sweden and my apartment. This is so amazing. People I almost feel like people don't believe me when I say that we've done work and helped people on 6 different continents, but this is like really true. The internet is amazing. Social media is amazing. You can literally reach anyone anywhere. And so it's actually happened. I'm from Sweden. My apartment manager has checked out the bathroom 2 times and I still feel like there's mold. For you, We Inspect Together is perfect. You literally now in Sweden on the other side of the freaking world can tap into my team and my methods and have your bathroom looked at. This is incredible. This is what the beauty of the technology and all of this is. So for you, I would definitely go to check it out. Again, it's yesweinspect.com/together. And I think that would be a really good fit for you. So that's really cool. Would you say that concrete construction has less mold issues than traditional construction in the US? In a broad general sense, yes. So concrete mold isn't necessarily, or concrete is not a substrate, a food source that mold is typically going to grow on or in. However, mold does grow on on top of concrete, but it's not necessarily the concrete that is growing on. It's usually growing on the dust, the settlement, kind of the organic material that settles on top of it. Now, here's what I would say though, is that moisture can penetrate through concrete also. So it's not like a solid yes or no, okay? This happens a lot in crawl spaces and basements where you'll either have water coming in, you'll actually see water coming in, like through a basement or something. But more often what's happening is that moisture is penetrating through the block, through the concrete, through a process that's called diffusion, which basically means that water vapor is moving through concrete. We think concrete is really solid. Concrete is like made of sand and water, basically. So like when you make concrete, you just pour a bunch of water in there and it like creates it, right? So it's not this incredibly super solid thing, even though it seems like it, meaning that it's still porous and moisture can move through it. That's what I'm trying to say. So just because it's concrete does not mean there won't be any mold problems. But in a general sense, if I have wood or concrete, which one do I think is going to have less mold problems? I would say concrete. So yeah, I think generally, yeah. Okay, so let me see. I've got like 2 minutes here. This is a good one. Let me see. I've got time for one more question here. All right. This is interesting. If I need to rent a house, can I request a mold test before moving in? I have mold illness, which test? If you're renting a house, they're probably not going to be super excited about you wanting to do mold testing in their house, because in their mind, they're like, if you find something, then we have to fix it, or I'll just move somebody else in who doesn't care, and I don't have to risk it. So if I was moving into a new house, this is actually what I do with my wife. This house that we moved into, every apartment that we moved into beforehand, we kind of have this sort of like dance that we do where my wife goes in and distracts the showing agent. She is talking about, the kitchen and this and that. And here's like, oh my God, this is like a whole story. I'm going to try to cut this down in a couple minutes because it's a really awesome story. She'll start, and we've planned this out on why we're doing it. My wife starts talking about our family living in the place. So every realtor, anyone who's a realtor, wants you to imagine yourself in the place that they're selling. That makes them feel like they're really doing a good job. On a realtor's side, their job is to get you to imagine yourself here, to get an emotional connection to the space, so you are more likely to make a decision to purchase it, right? That's just how it works. So that's what they're trying to do. So my wife just like leans into that. We're like, you come in, you're like, oh man, this is so beautiful. I can imagine our 2 kids at the counter eating breakfast here in the morning, and she chit chats up the person and imagines our whole life happening there. And while she's doing that, I bring a flashlight that's this big, I stick it in my pocket, and I go look in the rooms. And when I do it, I wander around and I act very aloof. I just kind of like look around. Like I don't pay attention to their conversations. And I want the realtor to think I'm just kind of like this weird aloof dude that just wanders around. And my wife like controls everything, which I mean, she does control everything mostly for me, but like in a good way, in a good partnership way. So she does that. And then I go into the different rooms with my flashlight and I'm looking for the 5 signs of water damage that I talk about all the time. And here's the quick trick, because I can't tell you how to do all of that. The quick flashlight trick, if none of you guys know this, okay, this is my flashlight, okay? I'm pointing the flashlight at you, all right? So here's how flashlights work. Here's the front of my flashlight. If you point the flashlight at a wall like this, you're not going to see anything. If you take the flashlight and you point it down the wall or up the wall, I usually go down the wall because I'm taller, right? You're not down here. What happens is that the light will hit any sort of bumps or cracks or bubbling or set any of that stuff, and it'll cast a shadow down off of it because your light is down high. And it makes everything super easily visible. So the really, really like big secret tip on flashlights, people have asked me about like this special mold flashlight. I'm like, no, I literally have like a $15 flashlight that I bought on Amazon. But the secret is how you point it. And if you point it down like this, or if you're looking at a flat surface, you don't want to point down, you want to point it like this. So think like under a kitchen cabinet, you point this way and you shoot across the floor of the sink cabinet. And it makes everything pop up and you can see everything. And so what I do is I go through, and if I start seeing water damage and a bunch of stuff all over the place, I'm like, all right, we need to go. And I'll walk out of one of the rooms whenever I make that decision where enough is enough. I'll just kind of give my wife the signal and then bam, we wrap it up and we're out of there. She's distracted the person. Nobody knows that I've been looking and inspecting their house the whole time. But if we do go through a place and we like it, I got a really good visual inspection in. I feel pretty good about what's going on there, and we move forward. And that's what happened in the house that I am now. So I didn't test anything in this house before we came in. I did a visual throughout the entire thing, and felt pretty good about it. So that was the move. All right, my time is up today. Thank you guys for coming, for joining, for staying, for sticking around. Remember, We Inspect Together, our app, our inspection mobile companion is out. It's ready. Go to yesweinspect.com/together. I only have, like I said, I opened up a few this morning, so I don't even know how many are left now. There's not a whole lot of people in here, so there might be a few left in there. So go check it out. It'll probably completely sell out today because I'm going to do like a more full post probably about it today. And it's, my post reached 30, 40,000 people. So I imagine it's going to go like that. So if you guys are watching and you're like, man, I would love for Brian Steen to inspect like one room in my house or 3 rooms in my house or whatever, this is your chance to do it. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to have the ability throughout the rest of the year. So I might be able to open up a little bit in December, but this is definitely going to take us through all of November and the beginning of December. So if you're into it, you think it's cool, go check it out, go do it now. I'm going to post something a little later today. I'll give you guys like an hour or two. But after that, I'm going to put something out and everyone's going to see it and it's probably going to go away. So anyways, thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye.